Little Nightmares is one of those games that you have to play at least once and experience it, or in my case, way too many times. It offers such a unique experience that we don't see often these days. Not only the immersive setting, but the subtle storytelling in the environment, and with the small interactions that we have within the world of the nowhere. It's often left to the players to figure out what this meaning is and the reasoning behind it. This is what makes Little Nightmares so special. It's open to interpretation. This is why, as a topic, Little Nightmares is very interesting. But one of the best tricks that Little Nightmares pulls is, most of the time, it's the sense that you can feel and see in this world. The sense of scale. Hello everyone, my name is It's Just Jordan, and I make theory videos on games like Little Nightmares and Reanimal and anything in between. But today I don't want to talk about theories, I want to talk about Little Nightmares as a whole, and how it's very good at making you, the player, feel vulnerable. And it does this mainly with scale. And often, this is exaggerated to great effects. Because of this, it creates fear and helplessness in the player, right from the get-go. Establishing where and who and what we are in the hierarchy of things in the nowhere. Take 6, Runaway Kid or Mono. What do they all have in common in Little Nightmares? They are all small. They are made to be powerless in the world, with the only exception being, of course, Mono, and this is because in Little Nightmares 2, for a short period, he becomes equal in some sense, being able to defend himself with weapons. 6 doesn't kind of experience this till much later in the game, where she fights off the lady with her own tools, the mirrors. Unfortunately, the Runaway Kid never gets this equal fight. He has to just use logic to defeat his enemies, and while we know how that story played out.
Oh no. I knew he was gonna die, but I didn't want him to die like that. He becomes the noob sandwich. No.
The sense of scale is exaggerated from the get-go. Nearly all kinds of the kids surrounding in the games towers them in stance and size, causing the feeling of being small, and this is done through the environment, so you can expect a similar effect from the residents of the nowhere. Just a few examples: the janitor, long arms, the twin chefs being the largest thing in the room, the guests, a never-ending bottomless pit the size similar to the chefs, and the lady, while she's not physically larger than any sort of resident in the moor, her presence can be felt all around the moor, which I would argue is even more petrifying than the creatures mentioned. And this is a similar story for the Thin Man and the Signal Tower too. This is why the first Little Nightmares is also one of the most interesting games from the series. From the sense of the scale topic, it's because it's indicated that not only is the environment that the children step on and the monsters they face, but the thing they reside in is alive, and the scale of that is unfathomable for them. This is also clear by how areas of the moor are designed, and often a lot of spaces in Little Nightmares. Big, open, and somewhat empty, a void if you will. So much is bigger than the player nearly at all times. Yes, like I mentioned earlier, we could also include the Signal Tower in this too, as that also has a type of presence, and let's not forget the actual void too. Another smart trick that Little Nightmares performs is the limitation on the camera movement. This plays a large part in setting these scenes and creating the atmosphere. Locking you into this forced perspective creates that feeling of not being in control, and of course, this adds to the experience. Take moments when the camera pans out, really emphasizing how 6 is so tiny in these scenes. Mono, the Runaway Kid, these are all moments where they are shown to be so small, and on the flip side, when the camera pans up close, enforcing the feeling of being trapped, suffocated, with nowhere to go. It's such a fantastic detail and use of a camera that I wish more games used it as a part of the puzzle or part of the storytelling, but this is one of Little Nightmares' charms. It's what makes it stand out from the crowd. It's the reason that you always manage to fit another session in to experience that kind of fear. Now, with all that in mind, let's talk about Little Nightmares' core idea: children's nightmares. In most children's nightmares, scale plays a large factor into this too, using the exaggerated, intimidating and uncontrollable world in which these dreams are created. I will direct you to the Little Nightmares 2 collaboration with Darren Brown, and what a fantastic bit of media this was, and it really emphasizes some of the topics that I've included in this video. One of my many favourite lines from that is, "It feels so familiar, yet warped." This brings us right back around to children's nightmares and, of course, Little Nightmares. Everything we see in the world of Little Nightmares and the Nowhere comes from the mind of a small child. A fear that's contorted, twisted, and shaped to scare most people that step foot in these worlds. But Little Nightmares explores this idea of a nightmare being an actual place where things are created by the children that fear the most. This is why Little Nightmares resonates with people from all ages, young and old, because we've all had these thoughts, these nightmares, these feelings, and one of the most common is the sense of scale. Again, right back around into Little Nightmares' horror loop. The sense of scale is everywhere in Little Nightmares, and while it is in the forefront, shown often, you would be forgiven how much it really does play a part in creating this world in Little Nightmares, creating these moments, these powerless moments, these uncontrollable chaos that ensues. And Little Nightmares is just a product of, what if they were more than nightmares? And what if you were as powerless as you feel in your dreams? Little Nightmares is a blueprint for scaling fear into a game, and I think studios could learn a lot in how they managed to captivate this sort of basic fear that everybody has and really translate it into an experience that we can keep experiencing again and again for as long as we can take it. But again, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And again, this is one of many essay videos I do plan on doing in the future about Little Nightmares. So please let me know if you liked it or would like me to talk about a specific part of Little Nightmares. And again, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely morning, day or night, wherever you are in the world. Stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next Little Nightmares theory video. Bye.